So it's time to have a closer look at Circuit Barcelona. In beautiful Catalonia, this is a rather technical track with a lot of sweeping corners. Let's have a look, shall we? Going down the start-finish straight, we can see we are perfectly in the shade of the big grandstand. We are positioning the vehicle out on the left-hand side for the braking point. In this area of the track, it's really important that we use the reference markers, the distance markers here as a reference for where to find the right braking point. They might vary quite a lot depending on the vehicle you're in. Of course, here with the GT3 RS with a lot of aero and a really performant brake system, we can brake quite late. You can see it here in this case also very much on the left-hand side. We can see here turn-in marker, diving in for turn number 1. Really important here that we run up on the curb in turn 1. We can see there's a flat paved area, a concrete area here on the inside, and we use that to really straighten out the radius here in turn 1. What's also important is that we set up the car here for turn 2 and turn 3, already here on the exit of turn 1. So sacrificing turn 1 a little bit, keeping it on the right-hand side, diving into turn 2, again here using the curb as much as we can, at all times, of course, managing also the track limits, making sure in this case that the right-hand wheels are still on the tarmac, of course. All right, out of turn 2, bouncing over the curb, into turn 3, hugging the inside at the beginning, rolling onto the throttle more and more, and the car gets carried out to the outside. We can go even in the dry conditions across the white line, down to turn 4. Here again, visual reference points for the braking will vary, and we can also use these white lines, which there are several of, just to find your right sweet spot for the braking. Going into turn number 4, we try to dive in a little bit early, hug the inside, and stick to the inside, and then gently open up towards the outside on the exit, in this case, down to turn 5. Quite a tricky corner. Why is it so? Because it's going downhill, and not only that, it's also diving in, and we have a lot of camber. That means that the front left wheel is struggling really to have traction and to slow the car down. So we really need to make sure that we use this straight bit of track to really slow it down. You can see it here, hard on the brakes, downshifting, and late apex. Late apex, really important here to get the car straight and full on throttle down towards turn number 6. Running onto the curb on the exit, you can do it, but you can also see here we have a rather, let's say, moderate white and red curb, then a more aggressive green-white curb, and a concrete surface. And after that, of course, the gravel trap. And here we really have to be careful. The gravel trap is quite a sharp edge from the concrete down into the gravel, and we don't want to run over that. That will damage tire and rim. And not only that, we might lose the car. You can see also some of the skid marks going off into the wall here. So make sure we keep it a little bit under control on the power. All right, down into turn 6, into turn 7. Really nice run here. We straighten out this run a little bit, and we aim for the beginning of the braking point here at the beginning of the curb. Let's have a look at it. Braking hard in a straight line, climbing the curb a little bit on the inside. We can also see though that the car is a little bit bouncing, a little bit upset by that curb. So we really have to manage and feel how the car rotates. And also in the exit, also here you can see in this case, the driver is really utilizing every centimeter of track available, making sure that he keeps 2 wheels at least on the track. If not, the track or the lap would actually be deleted. So here we go, uphill, very important corner, and into our next right-hander. It's a nice and flowy right-hander, but we can also see we are running over the crest, so we're struggling with the front end to grip, and the exit is completely blind, so it's really difficult to see where we're going. Also in this case, the driver is using every centimeter of track available. Here, it's a professional driver, very aggressive driving style. For me personally, I would maybe even put it a little bit more on the careful side towards the track. We can see here again, we have 2-3 different types of curb. We have the red and white one. That's a nice indication for where we are. And then we have a very aggressive green and white one. And also here, we have to be very careful being hard on these curbs, hard on the throttle. Same thing we can see here, also skid marks off to the right. So be gentle if you run wide. And if you run wide, make sure also to open the steering and just utilize the space. Of course, also here, keep it off the gravel. Very important, very important. All right, down the back straight. New bridge here on the top, which is also a good indication for a rough braking point. I'm not saying exactly there, but you can take that as a visual reference point, and then a little bit earlier, a little bit later, depending on tires, track conditions, and your skills. And of course, the performance of the brake system in the car. Braking on the right-hand side, diving in, cutting the inside, getting carried a little bit towards the middle, coming back on the left-hand side. This is really important. It's uphill, and here we want to come from the left side, hugging onto our first apex point in turn 12. This corner is a V-style driving line, so we drive in, we hug the inside once, a little bit towards the outside, and then we're going to see we're probably going to be coming back for a second apex. First apex, turn the car around, second apex here, and then we are hard on the throttle down to turn 13. Also here, you can run onto the green stuff a little bit, flat concrete, but it's a thin line. And remember, we have wide tires on our performance cars, so make sure that we are really staying then not too far to the left. Again, a very sharp edge and gravel trap. So this is maximum what we can do here in this case. Well done. Then turn 13, very, very fast, right-hand corner. It's going downhill. This is where, of course, in a GT3 RS, we can really utilize that downforce which we have in that car. The speed and the trajectory we can go here is different a little bit for our, a little bit, let's say, less aerodynamic, performance-driven cars. So here you need to feel what the car can do and what you can do in terms of skills. Also here we see we cut quite a lot, and we are gonna make sure that we don't understeer too far out at the exit of the corner. In this case, we can see exactly that happening actually. So in this case, I would say it's questionable whether the driver is on the track. Make sure we keep it really with two wheels on the track. If not, it's a violation of track limits. All right, going into the last and final corner, turn 14. Very important. Why is it so? Because it leads on to the long start-finish straight. So we really need to have a good run, good flow. And that is already set here in this area, approaching turn 14. On the brakes a little bit, bring the speed down, in. I would not be touching the curb on the inside like the driver is doing in this case. It upsets the car a little bit, and let's see where this takes him. We can see the car is bouncing, and he's running very wide here on the exit, so keep it a little bit on the paved surface. Still a good exit though, and a good lap time here in Barcelona. What a track, what a ride in a GT3 RS around this track. It's quite a blast. Enjoy.